Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Pacers Daily. I'm your host, Hery Acosta. Here we go. Wednesday, middle of the week. Not a lot of crazy stuff going on, but we do actually have a signing. And as always, hit that like and subscribe button. I do record every Monday through Friday, getting you guys new episodes here as much as I can. But here we go. First things first, Jalen Slauson has been signed to an Exhibit 10. Now, an Exhibit 10 pretty much is just a one-year non-guaranteed deal minimum for anyone who's trying to make the roster through training camp. So you get a lot of players that sign this. When you get to training camp, you'll see teams having upwards of 20 to 25 players on the roster, and obviously a lot of them will be cut, so you can condense that number down to 15. And Slauson, he's the kind of player. He just came off averaging 12 points a game for the Osceola Magic, and he's really only had minimal experience in the NBA. Played 12 games with the Kings back in 2023-2024. But who knows? Maybe he could show off, have a really good training camp, and potentially carve out a roster spot. I'm not fully certain he will, but it is just nice to have a few players trying to just compete for that roster spot. And then maybe he can end up on the Noblesville Boom and be one of our better players. And then if we ever need to start signing players to 10-day contracts, he can be one that we look at. But congrats, Lawson, on the opportunity. Wish you all the best of luck. It's gonna be a fun little training camp, fun little off season. We're already in September, so season starts next month. For anyone that's wondering, late October. We're gonna be in the best time of the year with football going on, basketball going on. The MLB playoffs should be starting soon. Champions League is starting soon with soccer. So at least any sports fans, it's one of the best times of the year. Now, I was reading up on Halliburton's updates, and one of the big ones is now he's kind of in and out of the boot. Now, I know I talked about him shooting free throws, and him looking like he can still shoot. He still got it. But now he can kind of pick and choose when to wear a boot. He was at the Iowa State football game not wearing a boot, but then every now and then he does have to wear that boot in case there's any pain there. But this recovery is looking good. Now, obviously, I know he's not going to play for a year. He's probably not going to be back till the absolute start of next season. Well, not obviously the 2026-2027 season, and even then he might come back into a little bit into the season, not fully right at the beginning, unless the recovery is just perfect. But out of every Achilles injury, this is the one that I've been hearing the most good news about. I haven't really heard much about Lillard or Tatum, and I follow all the NBA pages, but they all post Hallie's over anyone else's. Now, obviously, I'm hoping everyone's recovering well. Hoping Tatum and Lillard are recovering well, absolutely. Very interesting to see Lillard back in Portland. I didn't think that was going to be a case at all, especially that Portland hasn't really built kind of like that championship roster that Lillard was looking for in Milwaukee. But back to Hallie. I'm glad he's progressing, and I'm just very happy that this injury wasn't as kind of just detrimental as it could have been, because Achilles injuries have ruined so many careers, and so I'm glad that's not the case. Now, there's been a lot of talk about why Miles Turner left and why Miles Turner wasn't brought back, but then a player like Tony Bradley was. Now, the reason Tony Bradley was brought back is because the one thing that the Pacers really needed at center is rebounding. And obviously Bradley only averages 3-4 minutes a game. And in those 3-4 minutes a game, he averages 3.4 rebounds. Which, if you put it in per 36 stats, that's over 14 rebounds a game. And that is one of the better numbers in the league when it comes to rebounding. He's also very experienced. Bradley has played in the NBA for a while. Former first-round pick. Obviously has never been a star or really hasn't been a starting quality center. But he's always been a really good role player. But he was out of that league for 2 years. and now he's kind of just back playing in garbage time. But throughout the finals, throughout that finals run, he was getting minutes. He was playing actual like big minutes. Being that player that took Robinson off the boards, very good at boxing out. And we all know Robinson is one of the better rebounders in the league, especially off the bench. But Bradley stopped him from being as productive as he normally is. Turner could not box him out whatsoever. And now having both Bradley and Isaiah Jackson, who are both very good rebounders, very good for the center position. That's what one of our biggest struggles was. Not even last year, just throughout. Ever since we traded Sabonis, which obviously I'm glad we did because we got Halliburton out of it. But trading Sabonis, we lost so much rebounding on our center position. So, and now last but not least, I know I'm not talking about any potential free agent signings over the next few weeks. I kind of just want to talk about Aaron Nesmith and just kind of what I expect from him. Now, in a lot of episodes, I talk about different players and their expectations. We've talked about Nembhard plenty of times, Matherin, McConnell, Toppin. But Nesmith is one where he's going to meet expectations no matter what. Now, he is coming off probably one of his worst games as the Pacer in that Game 7 NBA Finals, but a lot of players didn't play good at all. And we've seen Nesmith pull off some crazy stuff. Game 1 of New York, that was one of the greatest heat checks I've ever seen from any player ever. 20 points in the fourth quarter from... If you ever, in the future, when everyone's older and we're all just talking about crazy stuff that happened back in the day, and you ask somebody, name me the player that scored 20 points in the fourth quarter off 6 threes in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. How many people are going to remember that was Nesmith? Obviously, I will. Obviously, every Pacers fan in the world will. But that's just one of the craziest things to me. But my expectations for Nesmith is him to improve his scoring a little bit. His efficiency has been very good. He has been a very good three-point shooter. And just maintain that defensive integrity. He is one of the better defenders in the league. Now, he has a little bit of problems with fouling. He fouls a lot. I'm not even going to lie. He fouls a lot. But that is usual when you're very on-ball defensive. And he's a good rebounder, great three-point shooter, great mid-range shooter, and can drive as well. So just honestly keep up the work he's been putting up. He's more on a role player. So he can do whatever he needs to do, and he does it well. So, but as always, I'm your host, Hery Acosta. This is Pacers Daily. Boom, baby, and go Sirs.